What's up everybody, Chris coming to you from Salty Island, and if you remember in our video last week, we had made reference that over the past month that we haven't been making videos, we've been up to a lot of hobby content, hobbying on the side, doing a lot of non-games workshop type of games, and as you can see, both from the thumbnail as well as what's on the screen right now, we have made the incredibly suspect decision to get into yet another miniature thing, and not just any miniature thing, but a game that doesn't even require miniatures. But we're going to make it require miniatures because that's how we do here. We're getting into D&D. Now, for anybody who's followed the news recently, D&D has recently announced one D&D, which I'm hesitant to call it D&D 5.5, but kind of seems to be implying it that way, which is not a bad thing. And before anybody asks, we play a lot of RPGs in addition to tabletop games. A little bit of D&D. D&D is not the major game that we play. We really love Cyberpunk Red. I personally am a big fan of the World of Darkness line of games. I'm a huge fan of that. I love Malifaux. I do run personally Malifaux. Salty Shy loves the Savage system. I'm a big fan of that. I don't know what else we play. Star Wars, the Edge of Empire. We play we're going to be playing Soulbound, the Age of Sigmar RPG. Now that there's a lot of content out there for that, so I'm pretty excited for that one. All the old 40k RPGs, Dark Heresy, Rogue Trader, yada yada yada. Probably check out the new one that has been announced. So we're hopefully looking forward to seeing how that one goes as well. Long list of RPGs. Short story is we're no strangers to pen and paper role playing games of all sorts. But D&D is a little bit different in the sense that D&D has become in our lifetime so mainstream that just everybody plays it. Like you don't even need to be a nerd. It's not even nerdy to play D&D anymore. It's just a thing that people do. And it's crazy in our lifetime to think that the nerd community has come to this point where D&D is basically like a household name. Like people who don't even play these games will recognize what D&D is. And things like Critical Role, where we've got to give a shout out to them for their hand in that. But on top of that, just all of the things like 3D printing and people who now make the game more accessible. And Wizards of the Coast, I have to give a mad shout out to their online system, where you can create a character online on a digital app. You can get all the rules on a digital app. You can buy the rules a la carte on the app, then import those rules into your character sheet. Hint, hint, all of you fucking tabletop companies who do not do this shit, I don't know why. You are behind the curve. So, mad shout out to Wizards of the Coast. They know what they're doing, and this is why Wizards of the Coast and D&D as a property is leaps and bounds ahead of any other company right now. It is not because their game is better, and it's not because their game is easier, and it's not because their system or their setting or anything is better. It is because their game is more accessible and easier to play than anyone else's. And by that, not easier by rules wise, but easier to get into the game, easier to find content for the game. And that's because it's supported in a way that is made for the modern era, where they make use of digital technology and virtual tabletop, and they embrace these things. They embrace 3D printing. They're not afraid of 3D printing. They're not hiding things from people. They're not calling people out, trying to shut their shit down or copyright infringe people, or they're not telling fan creation and fan sites that they can't use their property for whatever reason. They are embracing the community, and they're embracing the technology, and it has paid off for them in leaps and bounds and dividends. So, where are we going with this? All right, so we here at Salty Island love terrain. You guys have seen our terrain. We love it. We are going to be jumping into D&D, and our plan is to make a setting. We're going to make Salty Island, the salty setting of D&D, where if you are in the Las Vegas area and you've got a painted miniature and a character, you can come on down and you can play in the salty world. We're thinking it's going to be a like a generic catch-all kind of a thing, because we all like different settings. Like Shy is a big fan of Eberron, while I'm the exact opposite. I love Dragonlance. I want dragons and my high fantasy to be magic items on crack. And we all just like different things, and so collectively, we are going to be building this setting in real life using things like warlock tiles and maybe some dwarven forge and definitely lots and lots of miniatures, because you know we are a big fan of miniatures here at Salty Island. And in that vein, as you can see, I have picked up this box. This box is, I don't believe this is officially sponsored. It's by Steamforge Games, and it is compatible with 5th edition, called Epic Encounters. And what it is it is a one box that contains content, including miniatures, in the 25mm scale. It has a scenario. It has some stat lines for the contents of the box. And you can kind of take a quick look and see what's in it. So you get a bunch of miniatures. They are small. This box is called Shrine of the Kobold Queen. I thought it'd be funny. I don't know why. I think kobolds are hilarious, and I just wanted to paint up some jank-ass kobolds. The box includes 20 miniatures. I've heard that there are 9 unique sculpts inside of it, so there's doubles. I mean, they're kobolds, whatever. They're going to die anyway, but there's some hero, more named-looking characters, and I think there's obviously the Kobold Queen somewhere in here. There's a double-sided game mat that's appropriate for this. Obviously, at some point, I'm going to recreate this using Dwarven Forge or Warlock tiles or whatever it might be. There's an adventure book that tells you the story that is contained in the box, monster stats for all of these miniatures, some tips and tricks for building tension and excitement, so a little GM guide for people. I've also heard that the tips and tricks talks about how to scale this. People online have said that this is good for a level 1 through 4 kind of an encounter, but there are some tips and tricks to making it more, quote, difficult, so it'll scale up that way. To read the flavor text in the back here, the kobold speaks of a savior queen with visions of a world made new. Made, she vows, in the image of the dragon. This new world will belong to the kobolds, and the queen has filled her followers with the raging passions of her cause. Now they will destroy anything in their path to claim it. So there you go. It says here, inside this box is everything you need to run a truly epic encounter. Perfect for new and experienced players, Shrine of the Kobold Queen is ready to play right away as part of a new or existing campaign. Danger, discovery, and adventure await. It does not come with dice or your character sheets. You gotta get your own goddamn character sheets. Make your own character. But let's go ahead and pop this box open and actually see what this looks like. For those of you who are wondering, this box was $50. So for any of you GW people out there, you know what I'm talking about. $50 for 20 miniatures. Either these miniatures are shit and they're cheap, or we're probably getting a little ripped off here on GW products. All right, I probably should have opened the box once first so that it wasn't vacuum mask sealed. All right, hold on. I'm gonna take this off camera while I pop this bitch open here. All right, there we go. We'll just cut back in. That's boom. There we go. Here we go. We have a booklet. A very nice booklet, made of pretty respectable quality paper there. Oops, sorry about let's get this camera strap out of the way here. All right, there we go. Let's pop this open, see what we got inside here. All right. Talks a little bit about, here we go, tiers of play. So they've got different tiers, lower tier, levels 1 through 4, difficulty DC 12, damage level D4. So they talk a little bit about some stats on how to do that. Adventurer. Got some fluff, or you can read the fluff about Mother Krangor and the cult of the Bloody Flame. Obviously, we may rename our cult to something else, but it's got full color art inside here. Like little pictures. Oh, there we go. It's got all the scenarios: sounding the alarm, reinforcements, the altar, the shrine, the pit, some random table. Looks like. All right. Oh, here's the cavern section. All right, pretty good. Let's just kind of flip through this. The hatchery. Okay, so they talk about like the different areas. Gives you a lot of flavor. Here we go. You've got stats in a non-copyright infringement kind of a way. Here's what I'm talking about though with when it comes to that copyright infringement. I don't know if this is officially licensed. I don't think it is, but I also don't think that Wizards of the Coast is enraged that someone has created content to support their game. That's not what they care about. They want people to play their game. They want people to enjoy the setting. They're not giving you, the core rules. You need to get the core rules yourself. They're not giving you the player stats, but they're giving you all the NPC stats for their content that they created. Special abilities, actions, they show you what the miniatures look like. And you can't say that D&D doesn't create their own miniatures. They do. They have their own line of miniatures. They have partnered with WizKids to create a miniature line, both pre-painted and not pre-painted. They also have premium miniatures. They have large miniatures, character miniatures. So you can't say that this isn't competing with products that Wizards of the Coast is putting out. But Wizards of the Coast is also intelligent enough to know that this supports the hobby of people playing D&D, and that this just gets people more hype into D&D. Like, for example, I bought this instead of buying a D&D product, but obviously now that we bought this, we're going to buy a shit ton more D&D products in support of this product that got me to make this new project here. And I think that is a difference in mindset and speaks to the success of the brand as opposed to, maybe some other brands that have caught a lot of backlash from their community. There you go. By Steamforged Games. Oh, there's a licensing agreement. What is this? Yeah, they acknowledge it's a property of Wizards of the Coast, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I mean, they know that it's Wizards of the Coast. I don't know if they paid Wizards of the Coast to license the right to make these or how it works or anything like that. Yep, there's an advertisement for another model they have. It's a red dragon. It's a pretty big, as you can see. It's like if it says this is the actual size. So this is like a pretty big base, like based on my hand here, about like a good 7-inch base maybe. So there you go. There's all the models. You get 2 of the Firebrand Assassins, 1 Mother Krangor, 4 of the Firebrand Kobolds mounted on Ember Rage Fire Snakes, 1 Priest of the Bloody Flame, 1 Champion, 8 generic ass Kobolds, 2 Basilisk Handlers, and 1 Magma Belcher Basilisk. That Basilisk is pretty cool. Oh, and then the double-sided mat. There you go. Here's the mat. The mat is pretty generic. It's a mat. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. It is what it is. It's printed nicely. It's got creases in it, obviously, so you gotta flatten the shit out of this, but I mean, it's a mat. I don't know. It's the paper. The paper is what you expect. It's not the best, not the worst. Sure, it's a mat. Okay. All right. Here's what people actually want. Here's the miniatures. Here is the miniatures. Let's go get our friendly 40K model and compare this, actually. All right. Okay. So, whoop. Here we go. So here's the miniatures, and here is our buddy, the Mini Marine. So, you can see they are small, right? Like, I think these small ones are on the size of like grots. Maybe they're like a grot. Which a box of 10 grots is still like $30. Let's not kid ourselves. These snakes down here, these snakes are about the size of a mini marine. Yeah. And then here's the hero character, the mother Kragnor or Krangor. She's about the size of a mini marine also. That's not bad. The priest is a little bigger, but still smaller than a mini marine. And then you got this basilisk over here. This basilisk is pretty chunky. Like he's kind of a big boy. Let's pop him out of this box and take a look at these things. They do come in this nice little carrying box here. This is pretty good. Is there anything under it? Nope, nothing under it. Just set this aside for a second here. What? That's tape. It's got tape on it. Alright, there we go. Just edit this shit out. Alright, let's take a look at these miniatures actually. So, basic bitch kobold here. Let's see if we can get it to focus on this miniature. It is fine. It's fine. The detail is a little hard to see on camera because of the light, but it is fine. I think once you get some paint on it, it will look a lot better. Here's a little bit of a bigger one. Here's this snake. This snake is pretty nice, actually. All right. Actually, let's there we go. We'll just use this box. There we go. Here's the snake rider dude. It's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, come on, snake dude. Oh, look at my hand. There you go. It's not too bad. Not too bad. And then let's look at the big boys. Here is the basilisk. So he's a bit chunky. Oh, focus please. There we go. It's pretty good. Again, I think they are fine. To take note, usually D&D minis, for those who are not aware, are in 25mm scale, rather than Games Workshop, which is Heroic 32, or even like Infinity, which I think is True 32, or Marvel Crisis Protocol, which you saw in our previous video, which is 40, which is even bigger. Alright, let's take a look at the hero characters. So these miniatures are small, and typically the scale on them is 1-inch size bases. So like old GW, old fantasy kind of stuff. Oh, come on. Please focus on the miniature. There you go. Not too bad. As a hero mini, he's got a little bit on him. Here's the big fancy mini. Here's the Mother Krangor herself. Hopefully the camera is picking it up. What do I think of these minis? I think they are fine, honestly. I do acknowledge that when you go down into a 25mm scale, you do lose a lot of detail because things are just smaller. With that said, the wings on the Hero Mini have like they're not ribbed, but they have those texture lines from the folds where the wings fold. You can see on her cloak there are there's a texture to it. The rock has a texture to it. The weapons are fine. They could use a little cleanup, just a little. Like there's a little bit of the flash from the casting on it. It also does look like this was a multi-part mini that they glued together for me. I can see some gap lines in it, like the mother model has, let's see if I can, whoops, get it in there. Like there is, obviously on the back, you can see where there's the seam lines of the different parts on it, and the torso has a seam line also, if you can see that. Most of these other kobolds are maybe two part, like one main part and one arm got glued on. But either way, they glued it together for me. Like this shitty little archer here. Like, you know. Actually, let's see if I can get a closer up here for everybody. There you go. You can kind of see this chunky boy here. Yeah, there's that. There's the priest or priestess. I don't know how you tell a kobold's gender. Come on. There you go. And here is the big bad herself. You know, it's a kobold. I don't know if kobolds have gender. Somebody comment down below. I need to know. I don't know if kobolds have gender. But you can see, like in the wings, there's a texture to it. On the back of the cloak, there's also a texture to it. So what do I think? For $50, I got 20 miniatures that I have to paint myself, but that's nothing new. In fact, I like painting my own miniatures more than the pre-painted D&Ds because they're better than they used to be, but they're still nowhere near what I can paint. Even if I'm painting very quickly, I can paint that much better myself. So that's not a problem for me. I can definitely see how other people who maybe don't like to paint or don't normally paint would prefer them painted. But with that said, they're also all cast in a red plastic, so aesthetically they are already matching of a force. It's the Kobold Queen, and you know they're called the Fire something. What was it? The Firebrand. What is the name of these kobolds? Fire something. Fire something. Cult of the Bloody Flame. That's what it is. Cult of the Bloody Flame. So as you can see, right, you've got the red aesthetic already going there, which is the correct color to cast these in. And I know other epic encounters are also cast in like pseudo-appropriate colors. Like there's a skeleton one that's cast in bone, and then there's like a goblin one, and they're cast in green. So you kind of get the gist of where this is going. Overall, I am actually really excited to get this project underway here. And excited to build the world of Salty Island in the D&D setting. We're obviously getting some miniatures for our personal characters that we'll introduce you to in the future. But I just wanted to pop this open and show everyone what we have going on. Yet another thing that we've been working on here. And we will continue to give you updates on this project as we paint these up and let you see what's going on with that. Again, if you are interested in this kind of content or if you're just a fan of D&D, go ahead and hit a like. If you actually want to follow along on our journey through D&D, go ahead and hit subscribe. We'll really appreciate that, and we always appreciate everybody who watches our content. So thank you guys for your support and for hanging in there with us. And if you're a 40K person and this ain't your cup of tea, stick around. Like, we're definitely going to be getting back into more 40K. Again, if you saw in our previous video, there's a lot of terrain there that might be used for Necromunda, which is also a game that we are very, very interested in. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time and for checking out this video. We hope that you enjoy the content here, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Peace out.